Good afternoon. This is the first time I've done anything like this. It could be an absolute train wreck, but I'm going to do my best. And we're talking about, I've got a couple of subjects I want to talk about today. Let's see how it works. I'm all on my own. Feel free to chat. You'll see my number at the bottom. Email me. But if you want to join in, that'd be great. I need all the help I can possibly get. Let's get over to the board. So what we're going to talk about today is, do you like the high tech? Yeah. Why do people hate cold calling? What's the philosophy of gatekeepers? And if we have time, I'm going to talk about a cold call structure. In a way, I'm terrified. This is going out on LinkedIn, Facebook, and something else live. It's scaring the out of me. So why do people hate cold calling? And this is one of the challenges that a lot of my clients come across. It's the way we're hardwired. I mean, we've all got a phone and we don't mind using the phone. But one of the problems is we've got to overcome the basic wiring that we get from when we were a kid. Remember when your parents used to say, don't talk to strangers? And that's pretty hardwired. Don't talk to strangers. And they also say things like, it's rude to interrupt. You'll remember that one. I certainly remember it. Don't interrupt. Children are there to be seen and not heard. And the third thing that really came to mind was we never talked about money in our house, in our family. My father was a miner. He seemed to spend most of the 60s on strike, so we didn't talk about money. But it's bad manners to talk about money. So don't talk to strangers. It's rude to interrupt and bad manners to talk about money. Now, here's the thing. When we go prospecting or cold calling, what we're expected to do is ring a stranger, interrupt them, and talk about money. And that's why it's all a little bit screwed up, this whole prospecting game. And that's one of the main reasons people have call reluctance. Bolt onto that fear of rejection, thinking if I call somebody, they're going to hate me forever and I'm never going to do any business if I mess it up. So best not call until I feel brave, which actually doesn't really get you very far, because you'll never call these people who could potentially find a great use for your wonderful product or service. And actually, the philosophy that we should really have here is for you to share the great knowledge that you've got, share the great products and services. That's why you went into business. But also, it'd be rude not to. Now, if you could help somebody, wouldn't you do that? And that's what you can do. And this is the problem why people don't call. So let me see. Okay. I don't know if anyone's watching. So the next thing. Philosophy of gatekeepers. People say to me, I don't like cold calling because, forget the gatekeeper's horrible, big gnashing teeth, drooling, and it elicits that sort of conversation, that sort of picture in the mind. The thing is, gatekeepers are just people. They're just people like you and me. But they have two objectives. Objective one is to keep people out who shouldn't be allowed in. Objective two is to let people in who should be allowed in. So keep people out who shouldn't be allowed in and let people in who should be let in. Now, here's the thing. Gatekeepers only have a couple of lines. Who is it? What do you want? Are they expecting your call? And outside of that, they don't have much else to go on. Now, your job is to engage with these people, not to become their new best friend. They don't need any more friends. But your job is to get over very quickly why on earth you're calling. And there's a number of methods. We're only going to talk about one today, but I've got another 15 or 20 that we can talk about, which is really engaging with the gatekeeper, being honourable, ethical, polite, and actually having the sort of conversation that will so it'll make sense for them to let you through. Remember their two philosophies: don't let anyone in who shouldn't be let in, and let people through who should be let through. Philosophy of gatekeepers. I want to spend a lot of my time now talking about, or the rest of my time, talking about a cold call structure. Now, you can also use this not only for cold calling, but when you're meeting people for the first time, you're introduced to somebody in a network meeting, well, that's about it, really. I'm sure there's more. But let me just build up a cold call structure for you. Wouldn't it be funny after all this time that I've actually left the volume off and nobody can hear a damn thing? Right, okay. So the cold call structure. Our first conversation, again, we've got to be respectful. Time is a non-renewable resource. We don't want to waste anybody's time, but we don't want to look like everyone else. And the first thing that we do is we want to explain to them the sort of people that we deal with. Now, my business, the conversation goes something like this. I work with great companies, great people, great products and services. Out to play here. When people hear that, we want them to say, that's me. Now, no one would turn around and say, I deal with idiots. Normally, I deal with idiots who can't do anything like we do. Well, they'll say, no, that's definitely not me. We're not engaging them. So the whole objective is to say, I work with great people. I work with great companies. I work with high quality organizations with committed staff. And the first thing that goes on their mind is, that's me. That's me. And the objective is to get their attention, because that's the sort of company they are. So great people. Great people. But typically, they have a number of problems. Just jumping out a second, you know the sort of people why they buy your sort of stuff, whatever that is. I mean, for us, the people who deal with us typically have three problems. First off, they want to bring you prospects into the business. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to go about it in an honourable, ethical, professional manner. We show them how to fix that, because if they don't fix it, it means their business will not grow in the way that it is. Now, if you was doing, say, customer experience, we work with great organizations, great people, great services, but sometimes they have a turnover of staff, a turnover of customers, and they don't know why customers appear and don't return. They don't know that. And that could mean that their business doesn't grow the way that they want. They're not getting the sales turnover that they want. They can't expand in the way that they want. And we fix that. So the first thing we're giving them a pain. The pain is customers arriving and leaving and never returning, and they don't know why. And the impact is that they're not growing in the way that they should do. And what we're looking for is a number of pains and a number of impacts. A number of pains and a number of impacts. So for us, it goes like this. We work with great companies, great people. Not bringing enough new prospects into the business. That means that sometimes at the other end of the business, people are dropping away over time, but we're not replacing them. We're not filling the funnel. And that means that the business is flatlining or growing a little bit. We're not getting the profitability in the business that we need. Other times they say to us things like, it takes too long to close a deal. which means that each deal is taking a long time. We're not able to work on enough deals during the year. And that's a problem because they're not getting the turnover that they need, which in turn generates profitability, which means that they can hire more people, expand their offering, invest in research and development, however that impacts them. You should know that for your business. And if you can pick up 2 or 3 of these things, the person on the other side, and it should take no longer than 30 seconds, that's why we call it 30-second commercial. The person on the other side would sort of go, that's me, that's me, that's me. On the other hand, they could say, no, that's not me. Talk about that in a second. Once we've found the pains and the impact, the last thing we say, honest and ethical, I don't know if you recognize these things. I don't know if you recognize these things, because that's true. You don't. You're meeting a stranger, you don't know what their problems are. And actually, one of the worst things that can happen is you bumble into someone who might be a potential, and you tell them where they need your stuff, and they might not. And clearly the relationship is not being built. But if we've got some pains and we've got some typical impacts, and they turn around and say, that's me, you have a conversation. You can explore each one and say, well, think to yourself, this something is moving forward. But at the end of that, you say, I don't know if you recognize any of these things. They might say no. Not a problem. We have 2 approaches. One is it's over. They're not a prospect. But on the other hand, you can say things like, okay, so when you think of your customer experience, what sort of challenges are you having? What sort of concerns have you got? Now, they might say they haven't got any. Well, it's over. But they might say, we've got these things, which is something you've not mentioned. Tell me more. But the whole objective of a good 30-second commercial is to engage the prospect with a conversation. Engaging with a conversation, most people will not end up being a client. That's why you have to go prospecting, have a lot of conversations. But the ones that do, you will get to the point where they're willing to change their current behavior and engage you in business. You'll get there a lot quicker. Let me see what we've got here. One comment. Where can you use these things? Okay, well, we can use these things on cold calls. We can use them in networking events. We can use them when we're just meeting someone for the first time at when we used to be able to meet people, and hopefully those days are coming back. But that's really all I've got to say for today. This is my first go. I don't know how it's going to look, but if you want to know more, email me, roy.johnson@sandler.com. My mobiles should be on the picture somewhere. Text me, give me a call, send me a WhatsApp, whatever you want to do. Happy to talk further. Hopefully, if Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube haven't banned me by now, I shall try and give it another go in a week. Take care. Thank you for your time. A few people watching. Brilliant. Back to the, I didn't actually swear. This is incredible. First effort, no bad language. So we didn't actually need that thing after all. Take care. Bye-bye.